Welcome to Podcasts, recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcast, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
So as we start today's service, let's stand and sing our opening song together. And I want to thank Michelle and Paulette for joining me up here. Oh, yeah. I'm choosing heaven today. Please stand if you can, if you wish to, and sing with us. All right. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. Walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. Heaven. I'm choosing heaven today. Yes, we are. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. Singing, I'm choosing heaven today. Joy. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. And I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing peace today. In my soul, in my mind, in the world. Yes. Today. Oh, yes. I am walking the road of heaven right now. And I'm choosing peace today. Kindness. I'm choosing kindness today. I'm choosing kindness today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. And I'm choosing kindness today. Love, sweet love. I'm choosing love today. Oh, yeah. I'm choosing love today. Love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. And I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing heaven, y'all. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm walking the road. I am walking the road of heaven right now. And I'm choosing heaven today. Ah, yes, thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. We are choosing heaven today. Thank you all for being here. I am here to welcome you to, where's my sheet here? Oh my gosh. I know, I added something. So welcome to the Portland Center for Spiritual Living. We're a science of mind community that teaches spiritual principles to transform your life and to make the world a better place. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. All we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life simply by changing your mind. My name is Sandy Liebold, and I serve as a licensed spiritual practitioner here, and it's my honor to welcome you this morning. If you're new to the center and here in person, please make sure you get a welcome packet at the back of the room. And for our global community, the same information is available on our website at cslportland.org under the About Us menu tab. Either way, you'll find lots of information about who we are, what we stand for, and how we might serve you. Our website Also has places where you can sign up for weekly emails that detail our events. You can register for classes, and you can even get a free gift on your birthday. I have some announcements, as you know, today. First, a word about parking for anybody who came here today in person and is noticing that there is now a fence that relates to the property next door to our building. And just know, should have been this morning as well, but in future, we do have an arrangement with the people next door, and they are going to allow us to have access to a gate where we can open that so that we will always have the ability to park there when we're having Sunday services or other events. So thank you for your patience while that system gets worked out. I think we had a little surprise when we arrived this morning, but it's on track, so don't panic. I know parking is always very important to people. Next week is Practitioner Sunday. Do you know who your practitioners are and what we actually do? I know I didn't when I first attended a CSL church. Next week, you'll get a chance to see us all and learn more about our many roles here. We encourage you to reach out to let us serve you if you haven't done that already. I promise we don't bite. Our current lead practitioner, Catherine Richer, will give a short message next week, and other practitioners will participate to create our sacred service. And we'll have special music by our very own LaRhonda Steele. Yay! So we look forward to hosting you. The following week, August 6th, is Bring a Friend Sunday, and Reverend Ruth Miller will be speaking that day. Right after service, we'll have our annual picnic just down the road in Peninsula Park. Bring a friend or two and a potluck dish to share. We're also looking for more volunteers to help with setup and cleanup, so please RSVP at the back of the room or on our website so we know we'll have plenty of burgers and hot dogs, and to let us know if you can help that day. By the way, at the park, we reserve picnic tables under tall trees with lots of shade, so it'll be fun even if it's a bit hot out. Summertime is a great time to get together as a community, and we're also raising funds, as you know, to support our new minister search process. So who was here at the luau last night? Raise your hands. Woo! Aloha! Aloha! Mahalo! I was there too. And Charlotte Parks and Nadine Muller hosted a very fun divine dining event with delicious Hawaiian food and a wonderful dance show. And you can ask any of us that just raised our hands to demonstrate our new moves, since we learned the hukilau, hula, and we even did a bone dance, a Japanese bone dance. So we were bone, B-O-N, not B-O-N-E. Thanks to everyone who volunteered and attended. And there's still time through September to host an event. It doesn't have to be elaborate, just good fun for a good cause. Grab a sheet at the back or talk to Nadine if you think you might be interested in hosting. And I want to announce that we have a special event coming up that started as a divine dining idea and then morphed into a concert. And any minute now, possibly while we're sitting here, tickets will be going on sale. It'll happen within the next, I say, 24 hours. But anyway, tickets will soon be on sale. They'll be $25 each. It's a concert right here at PCSL at 4 p.m. on Saturday, August 12th. So you'll have time to do stuff that's fun during the day and then still do something else that night if you really are going for it. The three Laws, LaRhonda Steele, Laura Berman, and Lori Jones, will be reuniting, with Lori joined by her partner Eric Montgomery. You don't want to miss this. Please there's a flyer in your bulletin that looks like that, so please take a look, take it home with you to remind yourself to invite friends to come with you and buy tickets through our website. Like I said, any moment. And we expect a sellout crowd, so don't delay in getting your tickets. Through the generosity of our sponsors, all proceeds will go to our new minister search fund. And since this is a fundraiser, when you buy your tickets, you'll see a spot to add a donation if you're so called. It's a great way to support our new minister search and hear some fabulous music. So I hope you'll join us. Yes. Sure. Yes, absolutely.
I'll say it on the microphone.
Okay.
I wanted to thank you personally and everyone in our community who is making this concert happen. So I just kind of wanted to let y'all know that it's can I say this? I'll say it. I'm not going to be doing New Thought songs.
That's okay.
So I just want y'all to know it's not a New Thought concert. I'm going to be doing some old soul, and we'll do some Aretha Franklin together and some It's Your Thing, do what you want to do. So come on.
All right. It's my thing. I'm going to do what I want to do. And we'll give LaRhonda and the others a lot of RESPECT too. So please visit our website for all the other things that go on. This is just highlights that we kind of do on Sunday. Today we have licensed practitioners Kathy Batten and Nadine Muller serving on High Watch. They're holding a sacred container of consciousness in the sanctuary and for our virtual community. Our flowers today, courtesy of Kat Jacobs. Bless you, bless you. Thank you so much for being our flower queen on almost every Sunday. And our special music today features our very own LaRhonda Steele with our wonderful Friends Band. Thank you, thank you. Today's message is by our guest minister, Reverend Evin Wilkins. And he's going to pose a question you may have heard before, to be or not to be, but will probably give us some different answers, so I'm looking forward to that. And now, as you know, we're in the process of calling the right and perfect person to be our next senior minister. And everything is moving along in divine right order. As community members, we each have a role to play in embodying and bringing forth the qualities we desire in our new minister. And so now I invite you to find the covenant that's in the seat pocket in front of you. And we are in the process of knowing this and affirming this as our way of calling forth our new minister. So we will read this together in one voice. And so, there is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of spirit as wisdom. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, to realize that God is ever present, ever available, is to know that all the wisdom, intelligence, and power of the universe is right where you are. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as lighting this safe space in unity, love, and belonging. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself, for I am inspired to align with divine wisdom so that all around me feel uplifted, strengthened, and loved. I am calling forth the awareness of oneness as the source of universal truth. I am demonstrating the power of love in leading and guiding PCSL in its expression of wholeness and abundance. I am expressing passion for providing broad educational opportunities for spiritual growth and experiences, both in person and virtually. I am nurturing modern families, engaging our communities, and standing up for a diverse, equitable, and inclusive society. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will express spirit and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. Thank you. So now sit back and relax, because I know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, and the message is exactly what your heart came here to receive.
Beautiful. Let's take a breath in together and release it as we settle into our heart space and into our secret time of meditation together. We sing, I embrace the new, I accept a new way of thinking. I embrace the new, I accept a new way of thinking. I accept, I allow, I accept.
And as we now enter our time for affirmative prayer, this is a moment when we recognize and remember that there is just one thing happening here. There is just one life, one love, one presence, one energy, one spirit. Call it God, call it spirit, call it universal mind, call it whatever you will. It is the one thing that is happening, and that is happening through all the individualized expressions that are here in this world. Each one of us is an expression of that one, and each event, each circumstance, everything we see and know and hear is all God expressing right here and right now. And as I know that's true of me, I know it's true of each of us within the sound of my voice. And I know, therefore, that each of us has all of the qualities of God available to us in every single moment. It is all here, these divine possibilities. And it's so our choice. It is our choice in every moment to choose what to express, to choose how to manifest, how to co-create with this universal presence, with this universal set of infinite possibilities. And so we choose knowing that God is always guiding us, always providing wisdom, always leading with love, so that we can choose what is for the highest and best for ourselves and for others. This choice is our birthright. It is God-given, and we exercise it every day. And so I do just say yes. I choose to say yes to the things that I know will bring forth ever more love, joy, peace, harmony on this planet. And I know that every prayer, such as this one, is answered with a resounding yes by that part of spirit, that aspect of spirit that is always listening and is always manifesting and always co-creating with us. And I'm so grateful for this. I know that it's already happening. And so together we say, and so it is. And now I invite you to stay in this space of contemplation, of connection to spirit, contemplating choice, contemplating how God's wisdom is always there for us.
I'm Reverend Evin Wilkins, and I go by Rev Ev, just Evin, whatever you want to call me. I guess like my dad always says, just don't call me late for dinner, and we'll be all right. Yeah, wah. All right, so I usually like to start my talks with questions. So the question I'm going to ask of you all this morning is, anybody here a Shakespeare fan? All right, I thought we might have a few. All right. Well, even if you're not, you've likely heard the infamous "to be or not to be" quote from a young Hamlet. Now, for those of you who are Shakespeare fans, I think you might enjoy the talk today because it's themed around this famous quote. But we're going to put a different kind of spin on it today. Not the typical, literary spin, although you can do that if you want. But we're going to spiritualize it a bit. So is there anybody with me on that? Everybody all right? All right. In fact, I feel since we're going to use the quote that I should really share the whole thing, as it's really applicable to the talk today. So, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing in them, to die, sleep, no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation, devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. So to me, that is so powerful, is it not? Maybe I feel that way personally because there's so many spiritual teachings that can be gleaned from that entire piece of Shakespeare's work within Hamlet. But I want to take this today and I want to apply it. I want to apply it to a decision that we must often make on a daily basis, really a moment-by-moment basis. And what happens when we make the decision to be or not to be? And what happens when we make that decision from every moment in this time we spend in this life? So I have several favorite spiritual authors, which I'm sure most of us do. But one of mine happens to be Dan Millman. And occasionally one of his books, I've got every one of his books on my bookshelf at home, which we've got way too many books, but we'll just leave that. I should have brought a picture of that up here, but anyway. But as I walk by my bookshelf, a book will, sometimes just capture my attention, and the latest one happened to be Dan Millman. And usually when it captures my attention, I'll pick it up because I feel like that's the universe's way of saying, hey, Evan, there's some wisdom in there for you. So I picked it up, and that book I picked up happened to be Wisdom of the Peaceful Warrior. And in the book, he mentions to be or not to be. And he mentions how Dan Millman kind of talks a little bit about his own life in the book. And he mentions how at one point in his life, he was contemplating suicide. And he says, in this state of psychological paralysis and suffering, I was forced to confront questions about meaning, about life, and about death. As I stood on this inner precipice, I came face to face with the core of my life, my identity, and my existence. Now, I don't think we have to necessarily be on the brink of something such as suicide to come to that place in our lives. That place where we approach and stand on that inner precipice. I actually believe it happens at many times throughout our life, during many different moments and experiences that we're having in life. Those times when we may feel a little bit of conflict over something that's going on in our lives. Maybe a little bit of confusion. Maybe when we feel some isolation. Perhaps even when we're pondering, what is the next step of my life? What is the next step for me to take? And we've all likely been at that one point or the other. Or that we've asked ourselves that question, what really is the meaning of life? It may sound cliche, but it's true. This is where that question of what is the meaning of life is really driven home. So Mr. Dan Millman goes on to say, he says, you are a story in the making. And no one can predict what the next chapter, the next day, or the next moment will bring. So maybe we can't predict it, but we can decide how the next chapter is going to go down in our lives. We can decide by the choice that we choose to make. Now at Unity, and there's probably something similar here at a Center for Spiritual Living, but we have what we call our 5 principles. And they're about how everybody is born inherently good, how we're one with Source or God, whatever term you use for it. Talk about manifestation and other similar things. But the one I want to share today is what we refer to as the 3rd principle. And it's centered around co-creating with the Source. And it says, we are co-creators with Source, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. Now, I always like to refer back to, there's a book called The Basic 5 Principles, and it's written by Reverend Ellen Davenport. But I think she explains it really well there when she says, human beings create our experiences by the activity of our thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. And that includes to be or not to be. And I'd also like to add to be or not to be God, universe, Source, whatever name you choose for, or perhaps a different way of looking at it, how to be a co-creator with that Source. So me, I'm a very visual person. I like to visualize all kinds of stuff. But with this, I visualize this giant whiteboard or chalkboard, depending on how far back you go in school. I'm Generation X, so we still had chalkboards. But I visualize this giant chalkboard. And I think about the beginning of the school year. You know, and those of you who are teachers or were teachers, you know exactly what I'm talking about with this. But it is fresh at the beginning of the year, right? That chalkboard has been cleaned, it's shiny, it's like it's new again. And it's a blank slate, right? It's ready to be filled with whatever it is you decide to fill it with. And those things you fill it with, where do they often start, though? They start in your head. Whatever it is that you have in your head sets everything else into motion, until eventually your hand begins to bring it out on that chalkboard in the manifest realm, right? You're manifesting those thoughts that were in your head. Now, take it a step further and envision life as one big chalkboard. It's a pretty big chalkboard. But or even a canvas. You know, for some of you who are artists and painters, think about a canvas. You know, it's waiting to be filled. It wants to be filled. Its purpose is to be filled. But you first bring it into your thoughts, whatever it is you want to fill that chalkboard with or that canvas with, right? And the beauty of it all is that you can fill that canvas, that chalkboard, that blank slate with whatever it is you choose to fill it with. Now, occasionally, we may have things make their way onto the chalkboard or the canvas, and it may be something we don't want to see. You know, sometimes we may walk up to that canvas or that chalkboard and we're feeling a bit irritated or grumpy at the time, right? You know, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, or, you know, so we may put something on that chalkboard we don't want to see. Maybe we're feeling a bit angry at something that's going on, you know, feeling that maybe a little bit of confusion or conflict has set in. Or we may walk up to it feeling that, you know, maybe there's a little bit of love missing from our lives, or maybe we just kind of feel a little put out with life entirely. Unless I'm the only one that's ever felt that way. Okay, all right. I'm happy to find out that I'm in good company. But that is, as a result of those things that I may be experiencing at the time, you know, I may look at that canvas or that chalkboard, and I may realize that I've written or I've painted something that goes along with those things that I'm feeling at that moment, or those experiences at that moment. Sometimes something that I might be able to do, though, when I see that has happened, is to just simply pick up that eraser and just erase those things that I don't want to see. But before I erase those things I don't want to see, I could also maybe look at them from a different perspective. Maybe my experience brought those things forward because it was something that I needed to see at that moment. Maybe that crooked line that I drew, maybe if I add just a few more lines to it, it'll make it not so crooked after all, or allowing me to see the beauty of that crooked line. Maybe it becomes a beautiful rose or a beautiful flower of some kind. Maybe that equation that I unsuccessfully tried to solve, which me in math, that would be a pretty common occurrence. But maybe that equation that I tried to solve was unsuccessful because it was only through that unsuccessful attempt that I learned to do it better the next time. And maybe sometimes it just is, or it just was. You know, maybe sometimes I drew something from what I perceived as a negative experience in my life because I just needed to get it out. Plain and simple, no more, no less. To be or not to be. Only I can create my experiences of what it is in my life to be or not to be. Maybe to be or not to be results in me living my life a little bit of a different way than what I have been doing. You know, lots of times we've practiced that old way, right? You know, we've practiced it until we're blue in the face and we're a little tired of it. We know that it's time for something new. And to take it a step further, we even know that we want something new. You know, otherwise we wouldn't be probably studying ways to do things different, right? The sanctuary might be empty right now. We wouldn't even necessarily be having to study spiritual principles. Now, Dan Millman says in his book, he says, you don't have to do anything except to stop seeing the world from the viewpoint of your own personal cravings. Loosen up, he says. When you lose your mind, you'll come to your senses. Now, if you're like me, you may be replaying that quote over your head and think, okay, that sounds pretty good here. But hold on, Evin, wait just a second. Lose my mind? Maybe that doesn't sound so good after all. Or does it? You know, I'm not sure how many of you have read The Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. He's kind of original book that set it off. But he talks about a teacher that he had. And it was a spiritual teacher that he refers to as Socrates. Now, he's not the famous Socrates that you probably heard about in school. But he's just a guy that appears as just a regular guy that he has termed the name Socrates. But Mr. Millman lets us know in the book that when Socrates told him to lose his mind, he wasn't talking about becoming irrational. Sometimes that's fun, but that's not what he's talking about here. He was, as Mr. Millman states, talking about on the contrary, to pay attention to the reality around me rather than merely thinking about it. But what does that mean? To me, it means a shift in perception. And to ask myself, what is it that I am paying attention to? What do I put in my mind each and every day? What do I put in my mind each and every moment? So lots of times, I believe we walk around with this veil that covers our faces. You know, when we do, we begin to view life through that veil that's covering our faces. You know, sometimes we wear one that probably skews our sight just a little bit. You know, it makes us see things as they really may not be. You know, maybe you're wearing a red veil, and it makes everything appear as red. You may even look up at the sky, and it appears red. But does that actually make the sky red? Sometimes you just need to move the veil over a little bit or up a little bit and to notice the actual color of the sky for what it really is. What if we were to agree to lose that part of our mind that tells us that A, we need to wear a veil in the first place, and B, that part of our mind that makes us feel as if we even need to wear a veil in the first place? Wouldn't you rather just take it off and see the colors, to see life how it really is, to feel the breeze and the sunlight on your skin? So I want to share a quote I found, and unfortunately I'm not sure who said it, so I can't really give credit to the person, but it's not my own. But it says, once you have started seeing the beauty of life, the ugliness starts disappearing. If you start looking at life with joy, sadness starts disappearing. You cannot have heaven and hell together. You can only have one. It is your choice. And what you choose to see is up to you, right? Day by day, moment by moment, microsecond by microsecond. For we make the decision to be or not to be. So I want to ask you to take something with you today, the question of to be or not to be. Think about what it is that you want to be. What is it that immediately comes to your mind when you think about what it is you want to be, how you want to live? How does the thought of being what you want to be make you feel? How does it look? So I want to ask you to take that with you when you leave here today. And anytime the thought of what you don't want to be enters your mind, I want for you to think about that as your anchor, what it is you see, what it is you feel that you want to be or not to be. The choice is always yours. Namaste.
Wow. Thank you so much. Let's give a hand again to Reverend Evin. Imagine what our lives would have been like if maybe when we were learning Hamlet in high school, they said that instead. But here we are. We can learn it now. This is our time for sacred giving. Thank you so much for your gracious giving. Your financial gifts enable us to be in this beautiful space, enjoy wonderful music, hear inspirational speakers, provide online viewing, and to support community nonprofits. Your gifts allow this powerful teaching to be known so we can continue to grow and be an expression of spirit in the world. And now I invite the ushers to please come forward. I'm going to read the offering, and you will repeat what the blessing of the offering is. So let's accept and bless our offering together. I bless these sacred gifts, given graciously with love. These gifts bless, heal, and prosper all they touch. In giving, I am grateful to be richly, lavishly, and abundantly blessed. And so it is. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Evin. Reverend Evin? Reverend Evin? Oh, okay. Evin Rev. All right. Wonderful message, to be or not to be. So we got a beautiful song by Daniel Nahmod that you may all know. So I invite you to sing along if you want to. Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, and everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope, and I'm through longing for something, God, that will never return. You see, I finally learned, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, and everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that will never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. gonna be everything new. Bless you. Thank you.
And now for our benediction. If you're going through any kind of trouble right now, or if there's an area of your life you'd like to improve, or if you need a little bit of assistance with it to be or not to be, I ask that you please consider a quick prayer with one of our licensed practitioners. They'll be available at the front of the platform at the end of the service. We also have prayer request cards that you can fill out at the Ministry of Prayer table. And for our online audience, you can submit a prayer request on our website at cslportland.org. Both will be immediately distributed to all ministers and practitioners who are honored to pray for you throughout the week. Now I invite you to stand as able for our benediction. Something wonderful is flowing through me right now.
Something wonderful is flowing through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
And life is in my affairs.
Life is in my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
I am it.
I am it.
Just the way I am.
Just the way I am.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
So that know that with me you are never alone. The divine presence of love is within you always. Anytime during the day or the night when forgetfulness comes upon you, simply go within and remember that you were always loved. In gratitude for this remembrance, we let it be, and so it is.
Let's sing our closing song together, Blessed Always. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Rest in God and say amen. Bless you, bless you.
We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Our inspirational service is at 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our podcast listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.